Okay. So in yesterday's class, we have started with the fifth module. Uh, and the fifth module, the basic thing what we are covering in fifth module is about networking. So how the Java is helpful for networking. So you can go for different fields, but in case if you get an opportunity to work as a network engineer, so in that case, how Java will help you. What is happening? It's not moving. Yeah. So in that case, uh, how to use this Java for socketing, how URL, how to connect, how to check for the connections. All these will be you can learn in this last unit. Along with that, we'll be learning about the collection frames. So how to collect, what is a random access. So all these will be covering in the fifth module. And so first and foremost thing, which before we move on to the networking, the basic main core for a networking is a socket. So what is socket? Socket identifies an endpoint in the network. So then sockets are the foundation for modern networking. And what it is doing, it is serving, one computer is serving for many different clients at one time. So then server is allowed to accept multiple clients connected to the same port number, although each session is unique. So then we have something called IP, TCP, TCP IP, UDP. So what is this IP is doing? IP is connecting, sending the packets. It is a low level routing protocol. It is sending the small packets, but we can't guarantee that whether it is reaching in the same order or not, and whether it is reaching for the destination or not. Then we have a TCP, where TCP is a higher level protocol that manages to robust string together these packets. So in IP, we can't judge whether it is going in the same order, whether it is reaching the destination or not. But whereas in this case, the packets are sent and it is in a sorting, it is doing sorting, then it is retransmitting to the same destination address. And the last one, that is UDP. So what this UDP is doing, it is making TCP to support directly for the fast, connectionless and reliable transport of packets. And each important thing with respect to TCP/IP, so we have a port numbers. So each port is reserved for each thing. So now port number 1 is for file transfer protocol. 23 is for telnet, and 25 is for mail, sending mails and receiving mails, and 43 is for whois. And like this, we have so many port numbers for each one for each. But main port number which we use for the internet is 80. 80 is for a HTTP. And the key functionalities here we are using is, first is IPv4. Earlier days we were using IPv4 and it was 32-bit values. Whereas now we started using, someone has messaged, 1 second, let me check. Okay, so it's not for me. IPv4. So in the IPv4, what is the thing? Earlier, the people were very few people were using internet, and 32-bit value addresses were sufficient. But as there is a drastic increase in the use of internet, then the addresses also should be increased. Then we have IPv6 uses 128-bit values to represent an address. So then organized into 8 6-bit chunks. So this is how we check with the IPv6. So networking classes and interface. So what are the classes and the interface? Java supports both the TCP and UDP. So TCP is used for reliable stream-based input-output across the network. Then UDP supports a simpler, hence a faster point-to-point datagram-oriented model. The classes contained in the java.net package shows here. So which these are the inbuilt functions. Wherever is required for you for the internet networking, you can use them. In the same way, along with the classes, even we have interfaces. So whenever you want to use any interface for your programming, for networking programming, then you have to include a header file called as a java.net package. Along with that, you can use any interface. So the content handler, factory, datagram, socket option, file map. So all these interfaces you can use. Then yesterday we've started with the internet address. So anything, it is very important. We should have the address. So that's what we were saying. Earlier we were using IPv4, but now we are using IPv6. Then we started with the factory methods. There are conventional factory methods which are static methods in the class, and it will return the class. So here these are the three important functions, that is get local host, then get by name, or get all by names. So what is this get local host is doing? The method simply returns the internet address object that represents the local host. Then get by name. So it is similar, like I can call you by USN while taking attendance, or I can call you by your names. Same way here, get local host or get by name. So it will be doing the work. In the same way, get all. So get all by names. So I want complete second semester list along with USN and names. So then I can go for a get all by names. Factory method returns an array of internet address that represent all of the addresses that a particular name resolves to. It will also throw an unknown host exception. So that's what here in this program, what we are doing, we are using all the three built-in functions. So that is get localhost, get by name, and get all the addresses. Then inbuilt instance methods. So we have some methods like math.h is a header file, in that we may have a square root and function. Similar fashion, here we have other methods which are used whenever you want some common methods. So in the same way, one is Boolean equals object. It returns true if this object has the same internet address as other. Byte get addresses returns a byte address that represents the object's IP address in network byte order. A string get host address returns a string that represents the host address associated with the internet address object. Then string get host name returns a string that represents the host name associated with the internet address object. So then Boolean is a multicast address returns true if this address is multicast address, otherwise it will return false. String to string returns a string that lists the host name and the IP address for the convenience. So then we can see what is this internet 4 address and 6 address. Same way we know that IPv4 and IPv6. So in Java, initially there were different versions. So in the beginning, when Java version was 1.4, it was supported. Java has included support of IPv6 also. Because of this, two subclasses, that is internet address, were created. That is internet 4 address and internet 6 address. Internet 4 address represents a traditional style of IPv4 addressing, and internet 6 address encapsulates a new style, that is IPv6 addresses, because there are subclasses of internet address, and internet address reference can refer to either whatever internet addresses we require. This is one way that Java was able to add IPv6 functionalities without breaking existing code or adding many more classes. For the most part, you can simply use internet address when working with IP addresses because it can accommodate both styles. Then TCP/IP client socket. So TCP/IP sockets are used to implement reliable bidirectional persistent point-to-point stream-based connections between hosts on the internet. A socket can be used to connect Java's input-output system to other programs that may reside either on the local machine or on any other machines on the internet. So there are two kinds of TCP sockets in Java. One is a server and other one is a client. So now in case if I say, because I am the host, you can see earlier we didn't give you permission until unless we admit you people were not able to join. So that's how here this thing becomes second sem MCA becomes a server, and all 60 students of second semester becomes a client. So the same way here, the server socket class is designed to be listener, which waits for a client to connect before doing anything. So what the server socket will be doing, it is designed in such a way that it is listener. It waits until the clients connect. Thus, server, that's what you can see until I wait. Even all staff of second semester go over and link, we will at least if 8:30 we wait for 1 or 2 minutes, then we start a class. Why? Because students have to join. So that's what same way here this server socket also is doing. The socket class is for a client. It is designed to connect to the server socket and intimate protocol exchange because client sockets are the most commonly used by Java application. They are examined here. So you can see here demonstrate sockets, import java.net, then star import dot. So these are the socket. In case if we want to use socket, then you have to include a header file java.net. So then who is? It's a class name. So then public static void name for all the Java programs, I think it is similar. Then throws exception. So in case if you have any error in this program, then that should be thrown as an exception. So then declaration of the variable C as an integer type. So then socket. So creating a socket connect to the internet.pic and the port is 43. So socket S equals to new socket. So entry .net, the port number is 43. So then same way, obtaining input and output stream. So input stream is, so what we are doing here, so this is a socket stream. So then this is a input stream and this is the output stream. So then the string is being taken here and so how do we create what is a port for the socket? For the port what we are in this program, it has been used 43. Then input stream, creating an object in, and the socket S, whatever is stored, that port number in S is being taken and assigned to the to get a input stream. Similar fashion, even for the output stream also, we are taking the same port and we are storing that in the output. And create a string. And what is a string we have created? You just given one any website name. So here it is osborn.com. So then it keeps going on till it reaches the end of the site address. Then convert that to a buffer and read the requested thing. Display and where it should keep displaying until it reaches the end of the file, end of the URL. Then it should keep printing the website. So the internet is not about the old protocol, which is UC, Finger, and FTP. So these are the different internet protocols which we have used. It is all about www. So what is this 3W stands? It is a World Wide Web. So the web is a loose connection of higher level protocol and the file formats all unified in a web browser. One of the most important aspects of the web is that Tim Berners-Lee devised a scalable way to locate all of the resource of the internet. Once you can reliable name anything and everything, it becomes a very powerful paradigm, the uniform resource locator. So Java's URL class has several constructors. Each can throw a malformed URL exception. One commonly used form specifies the URL with a string that is identical to what we see display in the browser. So URL string, URL specifier throws a malformed URL exception. So the next two forms of the constructor allow you to break up the URL into a component parts. So URL string port name. So what is a port name? Maybe if you want to send a FTP file transfer protocol or email. So for that, each one of them have a port numbers. So then So you can take a host name, what is a port, so then path. So this will throws, in case if there are any errors, any mistakes, then it will throw a malformed URL exception. Similar fashion, so URL, string, port name, host name, string. Instead of passing a port, we can just skip the port number and you can pass the path. Then throws a in case any exceptions, it will throw. So that's what here the same program. So in this example, creates a URL. So what URL we have taken? We have taken OS form downloads page and then examines its properties. So demonstrating this URL. So what are the files we have to import? We have to import java.net, so because we are using the networking built-in functions. So then class URL demo. So then public static void main, the all the Java programs. So I told you whether it can be anything. This line is compulsory. Then throws, in case if we feel that there may be some errors in this, then it is we are using a throws exception. So what type of exception we may expect here in this program is malformed URL exception. So then create a object for URL. So that is URL HP is a object equals to new. So what type of object you want to pass for HP? So we told that we want to download OS Born first page. So that we are downloading and storing it in an object called as a HP. Then we want to know what is a protocol present in this first page. So then we are passing, we want only that. So then hp.get protocol, or we want to know hp.get port. So which port it is using. So protocol means like http www. So those are called as protocols. Port is, so whether it is 20 email port or whether it is a chat port. So different ports are different things. So then to get that, we are using the get port. So the same way, get host. So then system.out.file println. So file, then get a file. So what file we want. So then HP to external form. So next we move on to the URL connection. So URL connection is a general purpose class for accessing the attributes of a remote resource. So in case if I want, I am sitting here. Now what? So you can see the class, some may be within Karnataka, some may be outside Karnataka. So but everyone is attending a class. So then what you are using? You are using a remote resources. So now I am sharing my PPTs and you people are able to see my PPTs and you are able to listen my voice. So then what I am doing, we are sharing. So how? Remotely. So then what is the connection we are using? We have to have an internet connection. So along with the internet connection, you should know what is a path. So to log into the second semester theory class. So that's what here URL connection. So what is this URL connection is a general purpose class for accessing the attributes of a remote resource. Once you make connections to a remote server, you can use URL connection to inspect the properties of the remote object before actually transporting it locally. So these attributes are exposed by the HTTP protocol specifications, and as such only make sense for URL object that are using the HTTP protocol. So then URL connection defines several methods. Here is a sampling. Get content length, so returns the size in byte of the content associated with the resource. If the length is unavailable, so then it will return as a -1 is returned. So the same way, get a content length. So what are the contents in that? So even that also we can get. So returns the type of the content found in the resource. This is a value of the content type header field. Returns null if the content type is not available. So then long get date. So returns the time and date of the response represented in terms of milliseconds since January 19 in January 1, 1970 GMT. So long get expiration returns the expiration time and date of this resource represented in terms of millisecond since January 1, 1970 0 is returned if the expiration date is unavailable. So that we know that what is HTTP. So HTTP, this is also a connection, URL connection. So Java provides a subclass of URL connection that supports provides a support for HTTP connections. So you'll be knowing what is HTTP, Hypertext Markup Language Protocol. So this class is called as a HTTP URL connection. So we can obtain a HTTP URL connection the same way, just as we have done for just by calling a open connection. So I want a connection. So now what you do, you just click on join, right? Same way here. So even now, if you just connect internet, so you will be knowing which one you have to connect. So in that case, we have a built-in function for that, but we may not be knowing, but behind there will be a inbuilt functions that is open connection on the URL object. But you must cast the result of HTTP URL connection. Of course, you must make sure that you are actually opening an HTTP connection. Once you have obtained a reference to an HTTP URL connection object, you can use any of the methods inherited from URL connection. You can also use any of the several methods defined by a HTTP URL connection. Here is a sampling. So what we do, so these are the different built-in functions which we want, we can use. One is a static Boolean get follow redirects. So returns true if the redirects are automatically followed, and otherwise it will return it as a false. So then what is that? This feature is on a default. Then string get request method. So returns a string representing how URL requests are made. The default is get, and the other options such as post are available. So then get response code throws input output exception, returns HTTP response code. -1 is returned if no response code can be obtained, and input output exception is thrown if the connection fails. So string get response message, so throws input output exception, returns the response message associated with the response code, returns null if no message is available, and input output exception is thrown if the connection fails. A static void set follow redirects Boolean how. If how is true, then redirects are automatically followed. Is how is false, redirects are not automatically followed. By default, redirects are automatically how it is followed. So in the same ways, set request method string, so throws a protocol exception, sets the method by which HTTP requests are made to that specified by how. So the default method is get, but other options such as post are available. If how is invalid, a protocol exception is thrown. URI class, a relatively recent addition to Java is the URI class, which encapsulates a uniform resource identifier. URI are similar to the URL. In fact, a URL constitutes a subset of URIs. URI represents a standard way to identify resources. So now what we are doing, how do we identify second semester? So we have you have your name or by your USN. Same way here to identify, we have a URL. So URL also describes how to access the resources. So cookies, so you'll be knowing what is this cookies. So sometimes you would log in into a banking. So then if you wait for 10 minutes, then it will say your time is elapsed. So that's what here we use for a cookies. So the java.package includes access and interfaces that helps manage cookies and can be used to create a stateful and opposite or stateless HTTP sessions. The classes are cookie handler, cookie manager, and HTTP cookie. The interfaces are cookie policies and cookie store. All but cookie handler was added by a Java SE in the version 6. So then HTTP and /IP server sockets. As mentioned earlier, Java have a different socket classes that must be used for creating the server applications. So the server socket class is used to create servers that listen for either local or remote client programs to connect to them on published port. Server sockets are quite different from natural sockets. When you create a server socket, it will register itself with the system as having a internet in a client connection. The constructor for a server socket reflects the port number that you want to accept connections on, and then optionally how long you want to queue for a set port to be. The queue length tells the system how many clients connections it can leave pending before it should simply refuse connections. The default is 50. The constructors might throw an input output exception under adverse conditions. Here are three of its constructors. So server socket, then port throws input output exception. So creates a server socket on a specified port with a queue length of 50. Then server socket int port in a int maximum queue throws an input output exception, creating a server socket on a specified port with a maximum queue length of whatever the maximum queue length we want, we can. Then server socket, then port, and what is the maximum queue and what is the local address you want to take, we can take. Then throws a input output IO exception. Creates a server socket on a specified port with a maximum queue length of max queue on a multi-home host. So local address specifies the IP address to which this socket binds. So then we have a datagram. So datagrams are a bundle of information passed between machines. So now this, whatever slides I'm sharing along with the voice, it is reaching to all second semester students. So how it is reaching? It is reaching in a form of packets. So that the same thing here, datagram, what it is doing, datagrams are bundles of information passed between machines. They are somewhat like a hard throw from a well-trained but blindfolded catcher to the third baseman. Once the datagram has been released to its intended target, there is no assurance that it will arrive or even that someone will be there to catch it. Likewise, when the datagram is received, there is no assurance that it has not been damaged in transit, or that whoever went it is still there to receive a response. Java implements datagram on top of the UDP protocol by using two classes. The datagram packet object is the data container, while the datagram socket is the mechanism used to send or receive a datagram package. So examining each are examined. So then datagram packets. So there are different constructors. There are four constructors for datagram packets. So you can take data in size. What is the size of, so now this slide, how much is the data in this? So I want to know the size. So yes, we can do. So that's what here the first constructor gives us a data and the size. So in the same way, even I want to know the starting address where it is. Then we use a offset. So this is one more constructor where along with the data size, we can know where it is started. So that is what the offset is. So along with that, you want to know the port address. So if suppose from which port I'm getting the information, yes, we can do. So that's what your internet port address will be. So then datagram packets. So data, offset, size, so then IP address, then port. So that's what your these datagram packets are. So then datagram packets define several methods, including those shown here, that gives access to the address and the port number of the packet, as well as the raw data and its length. In general, get method are used on packets that are received, and the set methods are used on packets that will be sent. Internet address, get address, returns the address of the source for datagrams being received, or destination for datagram being sent. Then byte, get data, returns the byte array of data contained in the datagram. mostly used to retrieve data from the datagram after it has been received. Get length, so returns the length of the valid data contained in the byte array that could be returned from a get data method. This may not equal the length of the whole byte array. So then int address get address returns the address of the source for datagram being received or destination of datagram being sent. So then byte get data returns the byte array of data contained in the datagram, mostly used to retrieve data from the datagram after it has been received. So int get length returns the length of the valid data contained in the byte array that could be returned from a get data method. This may not be equal the length of the whole byte array. So then get offset, so returns the starting index of the data. So then int port number, so returns the port number. So just we have seen FTP one port, telnet another port, HTTP another port. Like this, if you want any port numbers, then we can use a built-in function get port. So in the same way, set address, int address, IP address. So sets the address to which a packet will be sent. So address is specified by the IP address. Then void set data sets the data by to data, the offset to 0 and the length to number of bytes in the data. So void set data, byte, data, int, index and the size. Sets the data to data, the offset to IDX and the length to the size. So the same way set length, so sets the length of the packet to the size. So then set port sets the port to the port. Collections framework, java.utility package also contain one of the Java's most powerful subsets. So the collection framework, so the collection framework is a sophisticated hierarchy of interface and the classes that provide state-of-art technology for managing group of objects. So it merits close attention by all programmers because Java utility contains a wide array of functionality. It is quite large. Here is the list of classes what in the collections you can use. So in case if you want abstract collections, yes, you can. So the event object, what is the event going on, whether I'll click mouse button, whether I'll click a keyboard, which keyboard. So that's what event. So random, I may take some random keys and abstract list. So what is a list I want? So in the same way, format table flag. So either you can set true or false. Then you can use a flag. And then resource bundle. So now we have unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5. Yes. So this collection we call it as a bundle. That is Java. So the same way here you can say resources as into one component. Then we call it as a resource bundle. So in the same way abstract map. So you will be using a Google map. So for that you just want what is a outer line of the map. Then we use abstract map. In the same way formatter. So when you open a Word, so you have so many formatting options. Same way here also we have a formatter which will format your details. Then scanner. So like this, these are all the different built-in functions which is required for you at particular time you can use. So in the same way abstract queue, calendar, service loader, abstract sequential list, hash map, simple time zone, abstract set, hash set, stack, then array dequeue, hash table, a string tokenizer, array list, identity, hash map, timer, arrays, linked hash map, timer task, bit set, linked hash set, time zone, calendar, linked list, tree map, collections, list resource bundle, tree set, currency, local, UUID, date, observable, vector, dictionary, priority queue, weak hash map, enumeration map, properties, enumeration set, property permission, event listener proxy, property resource bundle. So these are the different built-in functions which we may use. Those are the classes. In the same way, if you want to use interfaces, yes, we can use interfaces, but which is the header file you have to use for the interfaces? We have to use a header file as a java.utility. So in that we have an interface called as a collection, list queue, comparator, a list iterator, random access, dequeue, map, set, enumeration, map entry, stored map, event listener, so navigable map, sorted set, format table, navigatable set, so then iterator and observer. These are the inbuilt interfaces. So if you want to use for any of them, you can use it in your program. So then we move on to what are the collections and what are the overview of the collections. So prior to the collection frames, so Java was having a Hawk classes, so such as dictionary. So now you'll be seeing, so in olden days, we have a dictionary book, and it was made it compact so that we can study while traveling. So like this in the same fashion, so here we in Java, before collections, they were using a dictionary, vector, stack, and properties to store and manipulate group of objects. So now what we are doing, I want your IA marks. Then what I do, I create a Excel. Same way earlier they were using in Java, they were using before collections. So after collections have come out, so then they started using collections. Before that, they were using a dictionary, vector, stack, and properties to store multiple group of objects. So now you can see in WhatsApp how many groups you have. So we have officially you have second sem group. So then again you may have a placement group. Like this, there are so many groups. So how to collect all these? So we use a collection. Although these classes were quite useful, they lacked a central unifying thing. The way that you use vector was different from the way you use properties. So for example, in the same earlier and Hawk approach was designed to be easily extended or adopted. Collections are as the answer to these problems. So the collection frameworks were designed to meet several goals. First, the framework had to be high performance. The implementation for the fundamental collections, dynamic arrays, linked lists, trees, and hash table are highly efficient. Then if every need to code one of these, that is data engines manually. Second, the framework had to allow the different types of collections to work in a similar manner and with a high degree of interoperability. Third, extending and or adapting a collection had to be easy. Towards this end, the entire collection framework is built upon a set of standard interface. Then recent changes to the collection. So recent, what are the changes? So some features. So you'll be knowing what is the operating system right now we are using. So in case if it is a Windows, which version it is? What is the latest version in the Windows? Same way here, even in the collections, what are the recent changes we have in the collections is, so the recently the collection framework underwent a fundamental change that significantly increased its power and streamlined its use. The changes were caused by the addition of generic, autoboxing, unboxing, and for each style for loop by JDK5. Although we were revisiting these topics through the course briefly when we are using the overview. So next we move on generic fundamental changes, the collection frameworks. So the addition of generic caused a significant change to the collection framework because the entire collection framework has been rearranged, re-engineered for it. This changes whatever. So now you can see, so in your houses you change some, one time you may keep your, another time you may change. So like that, rearranging for all collections are now generic, and many of the methods that operate on collection take generic type parameters. Simply put, the addition of generic has affected every part of collection framework. So the collection interface, the collection framework defines several interfaces. This section provides an overview of each interface. Beginning with the collection interface is necessary because they determine the fundamental nature of the collection class. Put differently, the concrete class simply provide different implementations of the standard interface. So the interface that underpin collections are summarized. So these are the different interfaces and what are their descriptions. So collection enables you to work with a group of objects. It is a top of the collection hierarchy. DQ extends queue to handle double-ended queue. So which you would have studied in data structure. What is queue? What is double-ended queue? So double-ended queue is where you can move in both the direction, either front or a back. So that's the reason it is called as a double-ended queue. List extends collections to handle sequence, that is list of object. So navigable set extends sorted set to handle retrieval of an elements based on closest match searches. Queue extends collection to handle a special type of list in which elements are moved only from the head. Set extends collection to handle sets which must contain unique elements. Sorted set extends sets to handle sorted sets. In addition to the collection interface, collection also use the comparator, random access, iterator, and list iterator interface. So which we describe in depth. So briefly, the comparator defines how two objects are compared. So what is comparator meaning? I just want to know what is official group, second semester group, and unofficial group. So then what we say unofficial group, where you may not include all the staff members. Whereas if we say official group, then all the staff members will be there. Now I want to compare these two and see how many people are there in each group. So then we can use a comparator. So the same way, iterator and list iterator enumerate the object within the collection. By implementing random access, a list indicates that it supports efficient random access to its element. Collection interface. Collection interface is the foundation upon which the collection framework is built because it must be implemented by any class that defines a collection. Collection is a generic interface that has this declaration. So interface collection and E. So here what is E? E specifies the type of object that the collection will hold. So collection extends the iteratable interface. The collection class, now we are familiar with the collection interface. We can ready to examine the standard classes that implements them. Some of the classes provide full implementation that can be used as is. Other are abstract, providing skeletal implementation that are used as a starting point for creating concrete collections. None of the collection class are synchronized, but as you will see later, it is possible to obtain a synchronized version. So we can see these are the classes and their descriptions. So what is a class? Abstract class. What is this class is doing? Implements most of the collection interfaces. An abstract list, what is this class is doing? Extends abstract collection and implements most of the list interface. Then abstract queue extends abstract collection and implements part of the queue interface. Then abstract sequential list extends abstract list for use by a collection that uses sequential rather than random of its element. The linked list implements a linked list by extending abstract sequential list. Then array list implements a dynamic array by extending abstract list. Array DQ implements a dynamic double-ended queue by extending abstract collection and implementing a DQ. Abstract set extends abstract collection and implements most of the set interface. Enumeration set extends abstract set to use with enumeration element. Hash set extends abstract set for use by a hash table. Linked hash set extends hash set to allow insertion order iteration. Priority queue extends abstract queue to support priority based queue. Tree set implements a set sorted in a trees, extends the abstraction. So then array list class. So the array list class extends abstraction list and implements the list interface. Array list is a generic class that has this declaration, that is class array list E. So what is this E is doing? E is specifying the type of object that the list is holding. Array list supports a dynamic array that can throw as needed. Whenever we want to increase, keep adding the names. So now you're 60. So maybe 1 or 2 people are included in your class. Then we should be in a position to add 2 people. So that's what you're growing. Same way array list will grow as is needed. So Java standard array are of fixed length. After array are created, they can grow or shrink, which means that you must know in advance how many elements are an array will hold. But sometimes we may not be knowing at runtime preciously how large an array we need. So to handle this situation, the collection framework defines array list. In essence, an array list is a variable length array of object reference. That is, the array list can dynamically increase or decrease the size. So the linked list class extends abstract sequential list and implements the list dequeue queue interface. It provides a linked list data structure. Linked list is a generic class that has a declaration. So class linked list E, here E specifies the type of object that the list will hold. Then linked list has 2 constructors shown here, that is linked list collection and extends. So I'll stop here. We'll continue in the next class. Answer your attendance. Anaga?
Yes, ma'am.
Abhilash?
Yes, ma'am.
Akil?
Yes, ma'am.
Akrut?
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha?
Yes, ma'am.
Arvind? Arifullah? Benaka?
Present, ma'am.
Panu Prakash?
Yes, ma'am.
Bhargav?
Yes, ma'am.
Rahmatullah? Rahmatullah absent. Chaitra?
Present, ma'am.
Chandana?
Ma'am,
Chandana?
Alhamdulillah, present, ma'am.
Marked. Chandana?
Present, ma'am.
Charan?
Yes, ma'am.
Darshan?
Present, ma'am.
Diksha? Diksha? Dakshayani?
Present, ma'am.
Kishan?
Present, ma'am.
Harshit?
Present, ma'am.
Hemalata?
Present, ma'am.
Uma?
Yes, ma'am.
Jayant? Jayant? Divya?
Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik?
Present, ma'am.
Lakshmi?
Present, ma'am.
Lavanya?
Present, ma'am.
Manish?
Present, ma'am.
Manoj?
Present, ma'am.
Mohit? Mohit? Naval?
Present, ma'am.
Navya?
Present, ma'am.
Nikhil?
Present, ma'am.
Panindra?
Present, ma'am.
Pawan?
Yes, ma'am.
Pooja?
Present, ma'am.
Purnima,
Present, ma'am.
Raman,
Present, ma'am.
Rashmi, Rashmi, Rupak,
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Kumar.
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
How many presents?
ma'am.
Samir,
Present, ma'am.
Santosh,
Present, ma'am.
Sadap,
Present, ma'am.
Sharan,
Present, ma'am.
Shashank,
Present, ma'am.
Sheetal, Shivani, Soumyashri,
Present, ma'am.
Spurti,
Present, ma'am.
Sri Vishnu,
Present, ma'am.
Sugandhini,
Present, ma'am.
Sushma,
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita, Sushmita,
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita, you.
Ma'am, Sushmita, you present.
Okay. Tirtha,
Present, ma'am.
Trupti,
Present, ma'am.
Varsha,
Present, ma'am.
Veena,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Mohit, present, ma'am.
why you didn't answer, sir?
Network issue, ma'am.
There was an issue with the mic, ma'am.
Some or the other reason. Okay, Matt.
Giant present, ma'am.
Ma'am, someone has put in chat box, ma'am.
Okay. Diksha is there. Very full. Yeah, Matt.
Giant.
Yeah, Jayant, Matt. So we'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class.